Cruise line gratuities have always been controversial, but increasingly it seems like tipping on a cruise is getting more confusing. Some people genuinely do not know what to do and have questions, and other people say that they are getting serious tipping fatigue. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I can't be the only one that is noticing that cruise gratuities have actually increased over the last couple of years, in some cases to $20 per person per day. And in addition to that, cruise passengers often wonder, should they be tipping over and above that amount to certain people on a cruise? Now, this video is not about debating cruise ship gratuities. We all know that the majority of cruise lines do not include the tips in the cost of the cruise, so there are automatic gratuities that are going to be charged to every single passenger on most of the mainstream cruise lines. But more and more, I'm seeing some questions coming up that I'm not sure I always have the answer to. And I have to admit, I'm even seeing some people who say that they used to always pay the automatic gratuities, but they're deciding to make a change and instead handle their tipping differently. So this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a bit of a discussion. Of course, I will share any information that I am aware of in this video, and I'm going to share my thoughts as well. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Now, by the way, I've got 4 pretty big questions to go over. Now, this first question is something that I actually screenshot a couple of weeks ago when I saw it, and I've seen similar questions, so I thought it is a really good thing to discuss. I will let you know what I do, but I am going to read the question. Our cruise package came with crew appreciation. This supposedly is to cover all tips, but does it really? If we order room service, does the staff know that we have this option, or do they still expect cash tips? So please let me know. If somebody orders room service, do you think that they should be given a tip or a gratuity? Now, I do think there are 2 cases for this. There is a case where room service is free or included. Now, I think in that case, when room service is free or included, the person who's delivering the room service, I don't actually think that they partake in the gratuity, or if they do, it might be a very small part because they serve you directly. In my opinion, it is somebody that we should give a small tip. So $1 or $2, or maybe if you've ordered a lot of items, you can definitely give more. Give what you feel comfortable with, but that is my opinion. However, when I asked this question in the LifeWell Cruise Facebook community, a lot of people pointed out, but what happens if you paid for your room service and there is a service charge on your room service? Do you still tip then? Now, we actually had an experience. We were cruising on Celebrity about a year ago, and we ordered room service. There was a $10 delivery fee, and there was an additional 20%, I think it was, service charge on that as well. So it came out to about $12. Now, we did still tip the person that brought us our room service. I think we just tipped a couple of dollars. But I did wonder, I was like, oh gosh, we are charged a service fee. Do I tip on top of that? We did tip because we kind of felt like the person who actually is bringing us the item may not actually see it. But I do not know exactly how those tips or service charges are divided. Now, I have to say opinions were divided on this one. Some people said, if I'm charged a service fee, I am not tipping extra on that. And other people said, you know what, the person who delivers my items, I want to be able to reward them. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer on that, but please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, another tipping topic that I think really is debated is, should you pre-tip your cabin attendant on embarkation day? Now, there are some frequent cruisers who swear by this tip. They say that they get better service by giving the cabin attendant a few extra dollars on embarkation day. And oftentimes they do say they tip at the end as well, but they like to really give a tip at the beginning to let their cabin attendant know that they will be asking for a few extra things. Now, cabin attendants do not require this. And in some cases, I've actually heard from crew or those who work in the service industry that they actually prefer not to have this, that in some cases it can be seen as a bribe. I don't think anybody means it this way, but there is some debate on this. So please let me know your thoughts. I will tell you mine. We almost never. There was one time that we did pre-tip, and I will share why, but we don't usually pre-tip. I do leave a cash tip at the end of my cruise, or any included gratuities if it does come with my package. Now, there was one time that we did tip on embarkation day. It was not what I considered a pre-tip. It was our first cruise back after the pandemic, and we did that in that case because we just wanted to give a certain amount from us to that cabin attendant, just because we knew that times were difficult through all of the times that they were off during the pandemic, and it was just our way to be able to give back a little bit with zero strings attached. Other than that, I don't actually pre-tip. I've always found my service is excellent, but I know people have different schools of thoughts on this, so please let us know down below in the comments what you think. And by the way, if any crew members are watching, let us know as well. Who receives the crew gratuities or the crew incentive? Now, according to most of the different cruise lines, when you look on their website, you can see that it does say that the crew gratuities or the crew appreciation, that this is divided up by many of the different people that would serve you either directly, so that would be your cabin attendant, that would be your waiter, your waiters. But something to keep in mind is that those people who serve us, well, we can come into contact with many people who are actually serving us during a cruise. We could eat at the buffet, we can eat at several of the different included restaurants. So this way everything does get divided. Now, it does also say that it does have people that are sort of in the back of the house, and this is where it does get a little bit confusing. A lot of people wonder, where do all the gratuities go? I have to tell you, I'm not an expert in this. I don't work for the cruise line, and I am not really sure. I do know that cruise lines do say that crew gratuities do go directly to the crew and are dispersed to them. Which leads to the question, is it ever okay to remove the crew gratuities or the crew appreciation and instead to tip the individuals that you come into contact with directly and that serve you directly and directly impact your cruise? I have noticed more and more comments about people saying that they are doing this. Now, in part, some people say the crew gratuities are just so expensive now, or that they simply would want more transparency by the cruise lines and they prefer to give it to the individuals that have actually impacted their cruise. Now, I will tell you my thoughts. I don't remove the automatic gratuities. I feel like if this is a system that is set up, I just don't want to penalize anybody, so I keep that on there. But I would like to hear from you if you are comfortable. Now, another question that comes up a lot is, are cruise passengers expected to give extra tips on top of the crew appreciation or service charges or gratuities? I would say no, they are not expected to. However, if somebody does go out of their way, they do something a little bit special, they're impacting you directly, and you can afford to do it, I do think it is something generous to do. So is it expected? I don't think so. Is it appreciated? I'm sure it is very much appreciated by the hardworking crew. Now, I would really like to hear from you. Tipping or cruise gratuities have just been part of cruising for so many years. It really is an expectation. But I know a lot of people, just like in regular society, are getting a little bit fed up of the increasing tipping culture. And is it getting to be a little bit too much on cruise ships, especially when the cruise gratuities, when they continue to increase often more than once, twice a year? Now, please be kind, but please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.